Memorial Day is a very significant day for all of us in the veteran community. It's a day that we honor all the men and women who have died while serving in the U.S. military. Recently, our office, accompanied by 13-year-old Luke and 10-year-old Zachary, had the opportunity and honor to sit down with Bob Boulden. Bob is a combat Marine that fought during the Korean War. We asked Bob about the meaning of Memorial Day and what it means to him.
Memorial Day to me is a time when you honor, a special time to honor all our fallen veterans through the whole country, and that it's not just picnics and parades and all that. It's for our veterans that have fallen. You think about them people, your buddies that you lost and all that. And that's what it really means to me in that. And we travel to the cemeteries for a rifle salute for our veterans. And we used to go before this COVID to the nursing homes for the veterans that were there. And we do a firing here in the park in Burlington at the water's edge for Navy and Marine Corps veterans. And another firing at the monument for the Army veterans and the Air Force veterans. And it's strictly, we're thinking of all the veterans. It's just strictly veterans that we're thinking about.
Absolutely.
It's quite an honor to me. And you never forget it. You never forget them.
How long have you been doing that? Every Memorial Day when you go out to the water and all that?
I've been doing this on the rifle squads and that since 1955, and as those leaders of the squads passed on, I wound up taking it over about in the mid-60s it was that I took it over, and I've had the rifle call all the commands and get the rifle squad together and all the people and that, and got a good bunch of guys. Usually try to go with 5 to 7 rifles, and a Marine Corps flag, Legion flag, DAV flag, VFW flag, and American flag that we carry for all our events and what we have. And then on Veterans Day, we'd always usually go to outside of a program here. A week before that, we'd be going to schools and talking with the school kids about it, and we'd have a rifle salute for them at the schools. Mm-hmm. And then come just before Memorial Day, another 2 schools in Burlington here would ask us to come in there and talk to them, and we'd have a rifle salute and that at the schools there. And then for our KWVA, Korean War Veterans Association, we go to schools in March and talk to the kids all over, wherever it was. Usually Kenosha is where we usually wound up there, talking to the kids and all that. And it's always honoring the veteran and that. You never forget that, the sacrifices that the man did. And I honor all the ones that protected me after I got discharged out of the Marine Corps and that there.
So obviously your heart and soul is the veteran community, without a doubt. And obviously that started with your time in the Marines. Can you tell us a little bit about your time in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, I had 4 years in the Marine Corps, and I told a funny story on that one. They picked me up, and they picked up Lou Flores from over in Delavan. He was an Apache Indian, and him and I went down to Sturtevant, got on the Amtrak, went to Milwaukee, picked up 6 more. They put me in charge of them people. I thought, well, I'm really moving this Marine Corps. There's 8 of us, and I'm in charge of them already. We jumped on a train, went to Chicago, and we were picked up 12 more. Now there's 20 of us, and I'm still in charge. I thought, wow, this is really something. And so we get down to the embassy down in North Carolina, down on Paris Island, and got off of the train down there to the Air, and Gunny Sergeant met us, and I must have been feeling pretty salty because I got off the train and walked over to him and says, Sarge, I got all my men here present accounted for. And the next thing I know, I see him looking back and forth like that. And is anybody here? And a bird hollering. And he called him a specific name. And I said, whoops, I think I just got demoted.
That fast.
Yeah, that's it. From then on, I went into boot camp, and you learn to listen and pay attention to the DI. And I went to Camp Lejeune, and I was back and forth, second home at Camp Lejeune, from 48 to 52, and that no matter where I went, and we came back, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, for my second home. And it just like, it was a great place to be. Lejeune is a good place, and that. Sometimes I get a little tight up on that stuff like that.
Yeah, no worries.
Had 13 months in Korea, and made the initial landing at Incheon, and up through Kimpo Airfield, Seoul, Yeongnam-po, back around and put us aboard ship, sailed up to Wonsan, and we were going to make another amphibious landing up there. I made 3 amphibious landings under fire, and we made that landing, and they had the harbor mined so much that we sailed up and down the coast of that one for 2 weeks before we could even come ashore because of the mines that were in the harbor and that. And when we did come ashore, there was a big sign on the shoreline, Welcome Marines by the Seabees and Navy. And Bob Hope and Martha Ray and Jerry Cloner were all there waving at us as we come ashore. But that was just a part of it. And from then on, all devil broke loose. We went to Ham Hung, Hong Nam, Coterie, up to Hagaru, up to Chosin Reservoir. And that's when Truman said that, hey, I'm going to have MacArthur, I'll have my Marines home by Christmas. And we were all looking to get home by Christmas. Well, this was November 28th when the Chinese come across, and nobody believed the Chinese were coming. And when they come across the border, there's 13,000 Marines, 3,000 Army brothers like that, and the 1 division reinforced. And we were surrounded by 13, they said 12 to 13 divisions of Chinese, which is 120 to 150,000 Chinese that were surrounded there, and they were sent there for one reason only, and that was to annihilate the 1st Marine Division. And they tried, but we wound up with an 18-day battle. We lost 900 Marines, 2,500 Army brothers. We fought our way out. We brought 100,000 refugees with us because they didn't want to live under communist rules. And by the same token that they said that we eliminated 48,000 Chinese that we killed, and that hard to believe, but that's how many there was on that. And then from there we went down board ship again, back to South Korea, to Busan. And then from there on, we started our fight back up to the north, up to the Iron Triangle when I finally got rotated. And this is why I love the veteran. We lost a lot of men, and we honored all those men. And I could not do enough on Memorial Day or any other Veterans Day to remember our veterans on that. A veteran is special to me on that.
You guys have anything you want to ask him?
How long did you serve in the military?
4 years I was in the Marine Corps on that.
And why did you decide to join the military?
I wanted to be a Marine from the time when I was small, whether from when the Second World War was going on, and plus when Bella Woods, I think it was, when in the 1st Marine Division, or not the first, but in the First World War, And I think the Marines, when they were doing, I think, I wanted to be a Marine, and I wanted to be a Marine all my life. And I never was sorry that I went into the Marine Corps and that.
Was your family like supportive of your decision to join the Marines?
You did what?
Was your family supportive of the decision to join the Marines?
Not at first. At the very end, no, my dad wouldn't sign for me the first time when I was 17. I had to wait till I was 18 before I could go in. And as soon as I turned 18, I enlisted in the Marine Corps at that time. And was enlisted for 3 years, but we were in Korea. And they come out, my birthday, July 10th. And on the 5th of July, they came out with a special order. Anybody or all personnel are going to be COG'd for 1 year. That's convenience of the government. So I said, yeah, I'll stay around and help them another year out. On that, we were all extended. Our leave, our enlistment was extended for 1 more year on that there. And I come out, I was a buck sergeant coming out of Korea, and I made staff along the way, but I never did receive it. It's on my records. I made staff sergeant, but I didn't receive it at all on that. And I've been supportive of all veterans groups. Anything a veteran does, I'm very much supportive of.
Anything else you guys want to ask right now?
So I noticed you mentioned like home by Christmas. Did you make it home by Christmas?
That was General MacArthur and President Truman says, I'm going to have my troops all home by Christmas. Well, the Chinese changed that around. The Chinese says, they were going to annihilate us before Christmas. And they tried. And like I said, we lost 3,500 men, plus 6,000 wounded yet. Frozen hands, feet. My hands and feet are froze. If you sit there and happen to watch my feet, you see my feet are moving all the time for circulation and that. So I can be able to walk, and I'm lucky to walk. 91 and 9 months, and I'm still walking. So I give the good Lord, I thank Him every day for that.
But who's counting, right?
Yeah, I'm counting now. I count the months now. I'm shooting for 105.
There you go.
Yeah. For sure, so I got to make 92. 3 more months. Yeah.
So going back to when you enlisted, why the Marine Corps? Why, as a kid, did you want to be a Marine?
It just is. I just loved the Marines from the very beginning, and I think it was everything that Marines stood for and did from the beginning of time, and that I appreciate everything was done and said about the Marine Corps. I loved it. I could not wait till I got old enough to be a Marine.
If you had to say one thing to the Marines that are coming out of service right now, these young kids, 22, 23, 24, what would you pass down to them that maybe you learned in your experience?
I would when they're getting out, I'd tell them that join a reserve unit, which I never did. I wish I would have. Mm-hmm. Join a reserve unit or re-enlist. When we were re-enlisting, and we call it shipping over, now they get a pretty good price on when they ship over. But at the time when 48 and 52, if you shipped over, re-enlisted at that time, and used to smoke back them days, it amounted to a pack of cigarettes a day. That's what the money you got. It wasn't very much. I was making $137.50 as a buck sergeant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is that a lot, like, for nowadays? Like,
Yeah, nowadays it's in the thousands.
Was that like per year or month?
$137.50 a month, yeah. Plus you got room and board. All you had to do is give them a little blood. Sometimes they put holes in you. The good Lord, he put a couple holes in me. Every time I get sassy, I suppose, he'd put a hole in me. I'd look up, Lord, I said, I hear you, I'm listening.
So, for like a closing statement, if you had to pass down to today's youth and all the kids about what Memorial Day means to you, what would you want to pass down to them so they understand it?
Memorial Day to me, it means that, like again, as I said, it's honoring our veterans and we go to the cemeteries. Anytime you see a veteran, tell them you appreciate them and thank them. I don't do that yet, for protecting me. And the veteran is what's keeping this country together, and as bad as the situations that we got right now, veterans are the ones that are holding it together.